All men having power ought to be distrusted to a certain degree. Where an excess of power prevails, property of no sort is duly respected. No man is safe in his opinions, his person, his faculties or his possessions. Learned institutions ought to be favorite objects with every free people. They throw that light over the public mind which is the best security against crafty and dangerous encroachments on the public liberty. The means of defense against foreign danger historically have become the instruments of tyranny at home. As a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. The operations of the federal government will be most extensive and important in times of war and danger, those of the state governments, in times of peace and security. If tyranny and oppression come to this land, it will be in the guise of fighting a foreign enemy. Liberty may be endangered by the abuses of liberty as well as by the abuses of power. Liberty is to faction what air is to fire. Let me recommend the best medicine in the world: a long journey at a mild season through a pleasant country in easy stages. Liberty may be endangered by the abuse of liberty, but also by the abuse of power. Had every Athenian citizen been a Socrates, every Athenian assembly would still have been a mob. A good government implies two things: first, fidelity to the object of government, which is the happiness of the people; secondly, a knowledge of the means by which that object can be best attained. Knowledge will forever govern ignorance. Of all the enemies to public liberty, war is perhaps the most to be dreaded because it comprises and develops the germ of every other. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. If we are to be one nation in any respect, it clearly ought to be in respect to other nations. Experience is the oracle of truth, and where its responses are unequivocal, they ought to be conclusive and sacred. Religious bondage shackles and debilitates the mind and unfits it for every noble enterprise, every expanded prospect. The Senate ought to be so constituted as to protect the minority of the opulent against the majority. Ambition must be made to counteract ambition. Despotism can only exist in darkness, and there are too many lights now in the political firmament to permit it to remain anywhere, as it has heretofore done, almost everywhere. No man is allowed to be a judge in his own cause, because his interest would certainly bias his judgment, and, not improbably, corrupt his integrity.